We're back with part two of Clarice Jackson. Harvey
Yes,
Hubbell Show and Tell. How are you? Okay, so let's talk about this conference.
I'm excited, and I'm excited that you're going to be there and that we're going to film, we're going to screen Hopeville. And I know that you're used to interviewing me, but I would like to ask you a question since you're bringing this screening to the conference. What made you create this screening? And I have to say, by the way, I am so honored, flattered, and humbled that you give credit to me at the end in your acknowledgments of who helped to create this documentary. So, can you share that with us
Well,
really quick?
you're my buddy. I mean,
Okay.
you're one of the cool people to hang out with. No, don't get me in trouble with like 10, 20 years ago. I'm hanging out with like these like 60 and 80-year old women. Educators.
Yes.
Which
God
listen,
bless Diana King.
God
We love
bless
you.
Diana King. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
those are my peeps, man. So I'm hanging out
Absolutely.
with these guys and having lunch with them and hanging out. They're drinking hi hats and martinis and whatever else they're doing. And hero's journey. I've failed in school since I started. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and I'm sitting with these elder stateswomen, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, you guys have a plan on what the kids are supposed to learn per month? And they're like, look at me, like, of course we do. I'm like that never even caught up with. I'm like, I gotta capture this. And so the whole idea was, what I want to do is like, kids are hanging out at home, mom, dad, grandma. They're all like, that kid's really a smart kid. Goes to school, teacher says, not so much. This kid's not such a smart kid. What happens at that time? And how does somebody learn to go from speaking to writing something? And that all happens in first grade. So we went to Waterbury, Connecticut, which is 110,000 people, and they speak 60 languages down there. And you have these teachers that are like ninjas, which, because I think any teacher, teachers teach our kids, and that our greatest resources is our children.
Yes.
And
Yes.
making sure, like, the guy who fixes my brakes in my car, I want to make sure he's a brake specialist. The person who
Yes.
teaches my kid how to read in first grade, I want to make sure what is that? It's really hard to teach somebody how to read in first grade, because if they don't do that well, then they could be behind a year in second grade or 2 years by third grade, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Definitely.
our motivation was to see this magic, which isn't magic, it's science, uh, and see the hard work and determination, and be able to bring that in and be able to show it to all the school districts, be able to show it to saying, hey, we might have been led astray on how our teachers were training. They came out of teacher college and they might not have known. And you and I and our friends know the science of reading. This is what you're going to be spreading the word for. You spread the word your way, I spread the word my way. So, but it's the same message.
It
The
is.
the science of reading, what we've been studying. So mine is just being able to get it out there, getting school superintendents, board of education, decision makers, elected officials to be able to see this and to be able to see successful schools. So any way we can get it out there. So we're honored to come to your,
Omaha, Nebraska.
yeah,
Yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska. I was going to say your showcase, but Omaha, Nebraska, which is, the conversation has to happen in Omaha, Nebraska. It has to happen in Dallas, Texas. It has to happen in Los Angeles, New York, and Alaska and Arizona. This is the conversation that has to happen. And the thing about reading, there's empathy and compassion and all kinds of stuff, because you live these other lives once you become a reader.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I'm thankful that you've done that, and there are things that you do on film that open up people's minds and their thinking to a different way of doing things, a better way. And so what you do is very, very powerful. And so we are so deeply grateful that you are going to be present with us on April the 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. for the screening of Hopeville. the documentary, and that we will have several of the people that were in the documentary as panel experts in person and live. That would be Dr. Julie Washington, who is a phenomenal professor at the University of California, Irvine. She is a speech language pathologist. She has spoken at numerous conferences around the world. She was in South Africa in November, actually. And she's just a wonderful human being, and she really speaks to the differences in dialect as it pertains to African American children and how dialect plays a role in language variations. And so we are excited to hear from her and to bring that perspective into this conversation. We have the phenomenal Emmy nominated actor Amir Baraka, who himself is dyslexic and is a great advocate for youth who are um, in contact with the prison system, and for those that are incarcerated, because we know that 75% of all inmates are functionally illiterate, and we know that approximately 40% or a little higher of those are dyslexic. And if that is something that has not been addressed, that in itself is the fuel that ignites the school to prison pipeline. And so we hear from his perspective, and we will have him at the conference. And so we're very, very excited about that. He's very passionate about young people, and is always willing and eager to speak to them and to speak to Congress, as he's done with Dr. Cassidy, in getting the First Step Act bill introduced that puts dyslexia advocacy and dyslexia remediation within the prison system. So I'm excited about Amir Baraka being there. We also have Dr. Sean Anthony Robinson, who he is a senior researcher. He's a PhD. He has a PhD. He is an author, and he himself tells the story of his journey of making it all the way to high school. Very frustrated, very angry. The a typical black male that gets labeled oppositionally defiant and angry, and one that can't be taught. And when in reality it was that he had dyslexia, and it had gone unaddressed, and how his narrative changed by having access to who he considers one of the greatest mentors of his life. And through that chance encounter, he was taught to read using a dictionary. And so that's why the dictionary is so very important to his work and the work that he does as Dr. Dyslexia Dude, which is a book collection of a young black man who is a superhero and uses his dyslexia to his advantage and not his disadvantage. And so he has a very, very powerful story, and he will be with us as well. He's done a lot of research on Black boys and dyslexia, and I think that people will get to see a side of him that they have not seen thus far. And he's spoken at numerous places, but very, very powerful. We have Dr. Keith McGee, who is the co-founder of the Yale Multicultural Dyslexia and Awareness Initiative. But he has many, many hats. He is a social justice expert. He speaks to that. He is a professor at the University of London, Oxford. He is known. He is on CNN. He's a CNN contributor, and he writes a number of different pieces on different things. But one of his greatest passions is his voice as it pertains to dyslexia, as he himself is dyslexic. And so he will be our closing keynote, and he will bring to us a powerful message that will inspire us beyond what all of these other fabulous keynote presenters will be doing. And then outside of these keynotes, we have presenters who have submitted proposals to talk about things from parents and how to navigate the classroom, and how do you deal with having a child who has a reading difference. And we have the Black and Dyslexic podcast, Winifred Winston and Laderick Horn, who is also a well-known dyslexic, a poet, and a keynote that is sought after. And they will be doing a live podcast at the conference and discussing with people from the community within Omaha, Nebraska, um, what it's like to have a student who has a reading challenge and or dyslexia. What's the role? What do you feel as a parent? How is it navigating the school system? We'll have educators from local school systems there to participate in that podcast as well. We also have, I mean, it goes
You're
on
a
and
powerhouse. You're
on
like a lightning
and
rod.
on. You
Ow!
know,
Ow! You're on fire. I'm calling the fire department.
it
Ow!
is on and on and on.
Hot.
And then we have, again, like I said, it's the Black Literacy Matters Conference, but this conference is for all. When we say Black Literacy Matters, we are simply saying in a world where there are multiple diseases, multiple ailments, multiple problems, multiple choices in the things that people can choose from for whether I want to do Burger King or I want to do McDonald's, that we know that there are situations, there are things that we can highlight and we can focus on. It doesn't take away from anybody else, but this is the focus area. The focus area for this conference is Black literacy, but it is open to all. And so we have the phenomenal Kelly Sandham Hurley, who is the Dyslexia Training Institute founder, one of the founders and executive directors. And she created the dyslexia simulation that I use and hone locally in Omaha, Nebraska. But she is the author and the creator of it. And she will be with us at the conference and she will be doing the dyslexia simulation for the guests that come and giving you an experience of what it's like to experience dyslexia in the classroom as a child, as a student who struggles with literacy, and what that looks like. That includes aspects of ADHD and ADD and having all those things compounded. And it's such a powerful simulation that when I've done it and presented it to people, they leave there with a different perspective. Teachers leave different. They leave with greater empathy and understanding for the students that are sitting in their classrooms. And so I'm excited that she will be with us and doing that as well. It's just going to be a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous time. And we're going to have breakout sessions where you're going to get so much knowledge and information, and you won't leave dissatisfied.
Tell me about the breakout sessions. So you have these keynotes throughout the day, but then we're gonna get off and the various thought leaders are gonna.
It's going to be, we have those keynotes, but we also have other people from around the nation who have submitted proposals, and that information will be on our website at blackliteracymatters.org. And so we've got a number of presentations from people that are talking about parenting children of color and literacy. We're talking about the culturally responsive teaching. We're talking about what strategies and solutions work in advocacy for a child that is of Black or Brown, and a host of other topics that you will be able to choose from during registration. So we're just going to have a fantastic time, a rich time from April 10th through 12th, and this will be the beginning of what we hope to be an entity that serves in propelling awareness, change, and lives of those who are Black and Brown when it comes to literacy, because Black literacy matters.
That's beautiful, and I know we've been talking about this for a while. And I know it's not easy to put this together. So
It isn't. It's a lot of work, but it's worth doing. And we have an impeccable conference committee. We have a gracious host, which is the College of St. Mary, who is opening up their college to us and allowing this to happen on their campus. And so we're so very thankful and grateful to them, specifically Barb Treadway, who has been our contact at the College of St. Mary. And she's excited. And all of the people at the College of St. Mary have been very, very gracious. So we are very, very thankful to them for inviting you all into this space. And we just can't wait to host you all and to have you all here in the Midwest.
but you're kind of like this alpha woman. You start your own business, you have your own thing, and then nope, that's not good enough. You decide to bring everybody in. So I mean, doing it literally, it's the inaugural first time doing it. It's not done anyplace else. You're doing it, starting it in Omaha, Nebraska. Central
Yes.
America is like what I like to call it. You live in Central America. So
Smack dab in the middle. You're
smack
right.
dab right in the middle.
Yeah.
So you get this college involved. You reach out to all these people. I mean, it is kind of like a Herculean superwoman kind of thing that you're doing in your plethora of spare time over there, Clarice. So you're bringing all these people together. You're setting this all up. Um, I hope you're taking a vacation when you're done with this,
I need to, right? Yeah.
and then you're going to do it again next year,
I'm
maybe.
going to do it again next year, God willing. I'm very, very humbled by the response that I've gotten to everyone that I've reached out to and asked for them to be a part of this. I've gotten no no's. And so I take that very seriously, and I'm very humbled by that. I'm very, very appreciative. I'm appreciative of you and your staff and all of the keynotes and the presenters that are coming to make this vision come to life. And so I am just excited. I am grateful. I can't wait for this information to get out to participants that come and join us and to see this fire catch on fire even higher and burn throughout our nation for the betterment of children and literacy.
Well, so I think of there's these schools and these board of education folk and these and the school superintendents and these elected officials, these change makers in your community that is, I'm an hour away. I'm going to drive over there. It's happening right over there. I got to see this because they could learn. Uh,
Yeah, definitely.
and it's going to be right there. It's not You're not doing this in Los Angeles, you're not doing this in Chicago, you're not doing this in New York or Miami. You're doing this
In
like
Omaha, Nebraska, because one of the things in being in this space and being around great people like yourself, most of these conferences are in resort areas on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and there rarely is a national conference of this purpose and this magnitude in the Midwest. And so it was important to me to bring it to Nebraska. I was gracious, so I didn't bring you all here in the smack dab of winter because I didn't want to scare you because we do have some rough winters at times. So I thought of you all in that. But I wanted this conversation to happen in the Midwest.
I
It's needed. It's past time, and hopefully this is something that will engage other people and want other and create other spaces for this to happen in other areas for other people.
I can't wait. And the people you're bringing are great. I mean, I had a meal with Amir Baraka the other day, and he said we were in New Orleans, and he told the story again of when he was in sixth grade. Now there's a teacher that had him read. There's a girl that he liked. So think about
Hmm.
all of this stuff. This is he's a boy. There's a girl in the
Yeah,
class. He,
yeah,
he's cool. All sixth grade boys are cool. We know that. And but the teacher is not cool. The teacher knows that he can't read, and makes
yeah.
him. Oh, if the kid couldn't read yesterday, unless an alien came down and little baby Jesus came down and did an Irish jig and said you can read right now. If that didn't happen, then what? Uh, the teacher asks him to read, and he can't read, and humiliated in front of a class, and humiliated in front of the girl, and then he says, right then I knew I was going to be a drug dealer. I mean,
Wow.
I don't think that's what the teacher wanted to teach, but I mean,
No, not at all.
I think by having everybody get together and talking about these things and having these experiences, as many educators as we could touch and let them know like how education is a serious business. This is
It is.
this is life and death. We're creating people. You talked earlier about a person coming up and thanking you for what you've done. They remember these things because that's education. You see that's the important thing. So
Yes. And one thing you will never forget, I don't care how old you are, one thing that you can always ask someone and they will have someone or they will think of someone is what teacher impacted them. My dad, God rest his soul, he passed away in 2013, and at his wake, a young man, a Caucasian man, uh, walked up to me and he asked if I knew the family of Mr. Alonzo Littlejohn. And I said, I'm his daughter. And he said, and he had a bouquet of flowers in his hand. And he said, where's your mom? And so he walked up to my mom and he thanked both of us for my father. And he said, I saw in the newspaper that your dad had passed away, and he was my eighth grade teacher. And he had such a powerful impact on my life. I did not have a father, and your dad taught me how to be a man. And so when I saw that he passed away, I had to come and pay my respects. That's how powerful a teacher is in the life of a child. We celebrate great teachers, and we want our teachers to be armed with the skills that they need to impact the change in the classrooms of the children that they love and they teach every day.
That's beautiful.
Teachers are great.
Teachers
Yeah.
are great, and we live in a society that doesn't value our teachers as much as we should. Or
Mm,
maybe that's why our test scores are where they are. So
we need to do a better job. We definitely do. And this is one way that I feel that I can be helpful in starting those conversations and igniting the change that I want to see, you want to see, many, many people, including the keynotes and powerful presenters that are going to be at the Black Literacy Matters, want to see and will work to see until we see different.
I can't wait. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it.
Well,
Couldn't do it without you.
well, it takes a village, so it's gonna be fun. Okay, what else? What else is an important thing for our our audience to think about? What
Only
other?
thing that's important right now is to make sure that you all get your uh, register for the conference. You can go to Black Literacy Matters Eventbrite.com. Black Literacy Matters Conference Eventbrite.com and register for this phenomenal event. You won't want to miss it. We have a wealth of things going on that will interest educators, parents, and students who are thinking about becoming a teacher or a reading specialist, speech pathologists, advocates, and the like. Come and join us. We're waiting on you.